My question is to the Minister for Higher Education. Minister, despite academic freedom, including the right to teach, engage in discussions, conduct research and disseminate opinions being considered a fundamental human right by the United Nations and the hallmark of democracy, academics at the University of Sydney are being censored and targeted for speaking out against the war in Gaza. What are you doing to protect academic freedom at the University of Sydney?
I call the Minister.
Speaker, I thank the member for Ballina for her question. It is important that people have the right to express their views, whether that is in a university or anywhere else in New South Wales, but that right comes with a clear responsibility to ensure that views are not offensive, threatening or hateful. The Premier has made it clear on many occasions that this government does not tolerate anti-Semitism, racial hatred or any form of discrimination in New South Wales. Universities are a place for people to learn, to research and debate. They've also always served as sites for ideas to be discussed and challenged. Academic freedom is an important principle that allows academics to express their arguments and ideas openly. However, under no circumstances should that develop into students feeling unsafe or vilified because of their race or religion. Universities in New South Wales, particularly Sydney University, have acknowledged that the Middle East conflict and the views and actions locally around it have been difficult for them to deal with. I note that this is explicitly called out in the University of Sydney's recent annual report, tabled in this place. They've been upfront and honest about failings and learnings, and I think that is positive. I've certainly heard from people representing Jewish groups and Muslim groups that during this conflict, individuals from both have felt less safe than they should. And I was concerned to read in this morning's Sydney Morning Herald that Jewish students at the University of Sydney had to contend with activists who entered lecture halls chanting anti-Semitic slogans or carrying banners. Frankly, I think the focus of any lecture as part of a very expensive degree should be on the course material. But much more importantly, students should be able to sit in a lecture theatre without feeling harassed or threatened. I'm informed that as a result of Safe Work conducting inspections, the University of Sydney is now assessed as having adequate systems and work safety in place. All businesses have a duty to ensure both physical and psychological safety in workplaces. I'd also note the Minns government's strong action in passing 3 bills earlier this year to further protect the community from racial hatred, offensive Nazi symbols and desecration and harassment at places of worship. That package was developed in response to a series of unacceptable anti-Semitic attacks that caused division and fear in our community. They sent the clear message that we take racial hatred and anti-Semitism seriously and that we're prepared to act quickly and decisively to protect the community. Universities are autonomous institutions that are almost entirely regulated by the federal government. I do have a good working relationship with all our universities and speak to them regularly on many issues, and I continue to work through the Education Ministers' Councils on issues like campus safety and the wellbeing of students. I have regular discussions with Vice-Chancellors around a range of university issues, including campus safety, but in that context, the context of universities governing their own affairs. Members may have noted that universities recently adopted a definition of anti-Semitism put forward nationally. That definition makes it absolutely clear what anti-Semitic behaviour is. Fundamentally, though, I want to be absolutely clear that academic freedom and freedom of expression does not include a freedom to be anti-Semitic or to be vilified because of race or religion.
Yes, Member for